Good morning, everyone. Welcome to It's Only Electric. Today is a very special episode. It's 4:30 in the morning, crack of dawn. I'm here behind the scenes shooting some materials together with NIO. So NIO is actually releasing the new EL6, ES6 in China. And I don't know if you see it, but away over there, it's the ET5 touring version. So the touring version is actually created for the European market. Europeans love practical cars. Sedans is not their game. So the touring version will really be a game changer, I think, for NIO and for the electric market. It is one of the first cars in this premium segment as a station wagon. So that's very interesting. And back to the EL6. This is a mid-size SUV. This is the European version and is going to be released for Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Netherlands and Germany as the first countries. It's a bit smaller than the bigger brother EL7 or ES7. This is a car that will fit the market better. It's more of a volume car compared to the ES7 because it's smaller and it's more in the ballpark for what people need. A little bit longer than the Model Y. So it's a great segment and a segment that a lot of people really like. There's a lot of potential in the EL6. Colors inspired by the sky. And this one is really obvious that it is sky colored. It's a great looking car. They have been here for 2 hours now, filming, shooting. I don't know if you see them, but let's get closer. I'll just show you how it looks. You see? That's a different back, huh? Have you seen that before? No? Beautiful car. I have tested the ET5 sedan version before. Never that one. It's a pre-production car, but very close to the final production, so 99% ready for production. It's drivable, as you see. Everything is working. So I'm really excited to test drive this car. I'm not going to test drive it today though. So this is just a preview and a sneak peek before I review these cars in a deeper manner. So both cars is not ready to drive yet. I mean, they are technically and mechanically, but they are not registered, so you can't drive them. It's illegal to drive them. So you see behind me, it's time to go and move to the next location. The ET5 is getting ready for transport together with the EL6 just in a moment. So more footage coming soon. And if you wonder what the peeing sound is behind me or behind you, it's Poseidon with a lot of water. This is a landmark here in Gothenburg. Poseidon holding his fish. Let's continue looking at the ET5 Touring Edition. To the right, you have the ET5. That's actually the one I tested a couple of months ago, the normal ET5. And just beside it, you see the touring version. You see the difference in the profile. You can equip it with a tow hitch, both cars, as you see in the picture. And now they are actually covering it for two reasons. One reason, they don't want to show it for everyone. The second reason is to keep it clean, of course. But a beautiful morning here in Gothenburg. The sun just went up, so it's getting a bit more crowdy, but still a very silent place and not a lot of cars out there. So later today I'm going to interview the studio manager at NIO and the head of product management. That's actually the guy that's one of the fathers to the station wagon of the ET5. So stay tuned for that one. Now it's time to move to the next location for some nice footage and videos. The whole lineup is actually here today. That's nice to see. That's the ET7. That's the bigger version of the ET5 sedan, a more luxurious one with air suspension, etc. The new EL6 Actually, one car is missing, and that's the EL7. The EL7 is not here, but apart from the EL7, the whole lineup of NIO, at least here in Europe, is represented. This is the one I test drove earlier this year, the ET5, 75 kilowatt hours battery pack. And on that trolley, they have loaded the ET5 Touring Edition. Together with me, I have Niklas Andersson from NIO. Hello, Niklas, and welcome. I have some questions for you. First off, what's your role at NIO and what's your background?
Well, thanks for asking, Effe. My role at NIO, I'm so-called head of product marketing for Europe at NIO. So me and my team, we are responsible for the pricing, packaging, promotion and positioning of all our vehicles for Europe.
Nice. So you're based in Munich?
Correct, I'm based in Munich.
And I clearly hear that you have an heritage from Gothenburg, where we are now. We are actually standing at Eriksberg, I think this is called, this area in Gothenburg. Very beautiful pier here. A great interview location. So you're based here and you have a background in the car industry before NIO too?
Yes, correct. I've and astute of you to observe that I'm from Gothenburg.
Yeah?
I'm not sure how much it comes through in the English, but yes.
You have great English, but we talked Swedish before this, and then it's very obvious.
Yeah, and right. I have a background from the automotive industry in Gothenburg of around 20 years, working for the different other automotive brands in the Gothenburg region, but mainly within the same area. Product marketing and product marketing related.
Yeah. Nice, because Gothenburg has an old heritage of the car industry, Volvo, etc. Based here, a strong capital for cars and the car industry in Sweden and Scandinavia, I would say. Here behind us we have the two new cars, the EL6 and the ET5 Touring. So a specific question about the ET5 Touring. What's your view on the strategy on the ET5 Touring, the segmentation? Do you have any main rivals in the segment for the moment?
Yeah, well, let's start from the beginning slightly. The ET5 Touring is a super good car for the European market and maybe even more so for the Nordic and Scandinavian markets. But it's not necessarily a natural type of car for a car brand with a strong market in China. Touring cars are basically non-existent in China, so it took quite a lot of internal discussions where the European organization in NIO really put forward to the top management the need for this car. And we had our designers doing a super job in designing a great-looking touring car. It was in the end then decided to base it on the ET5 size level, because that is also where we have a huge volume potential in the European markets. So the whole idea is to now be able to reach those customers that need the extra space, the extra versatility, but still maintain the sportiness, the drivability and so on of the ET5 car.
Yeah, great, because I have test-driven the ET5, the Southern version. It's a really fun car to drive, and I'm really looking forward to test drive the ET5 Touring version when it's available for test driving, because I really like the driving dynamics, the sportiness. I mean, 482 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque in a station wagon. That's a good combination, isn't it? Yeah, fun to drive.
Yes.
Yeah. I have another question for you, and that's actually about the EL6.
Yes.
So actually the same question, the segmentation for the EL6, and how do you see on that as a product?
Yeah, and the reasoning is slightly different because the ET5, as we said, was in a very good size segment for European customers. In the current portfolio, before we now launch these cars in Europe, we have the EL7, which is a bigger car. It's in a European context, it's a big SUV.
Yeah.
And we really saw the need to have a mid-sized SUV in Europe, because this is a segment where we have lots of customers, lots of families that need the flexibility, the versatility, maybe not the same sportiness approach as we have with ET5, but this is then definitely a car that is suitable for any occasion. And we really saw that this is a market and these are users that we want to engage with. So that is the background for us bringing the EL6 here.
Sounds like an interesting segment. And you mentioned not as sporty, but I mean, 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not like the ET5, but still a very sporty SUV, at least when it comes to performance and like horsepower and yeah.
I just a comment on that. I'd say that would go for all NIO cars. They are at the core. They have the same platform, the same powertrain technology, batteries, and so on. So what we usually say, you will have more than enough of power in these cars, more than most people actually can utilize in any way. So it's quite sufficient. Sportiness, for me, it's very much related to how a user experiences the product.
Yeah.
In the ET5 Touring, you have the more low seating, close to the ground, sporty driving feeling, and in the EL6 you sit a bit higher. You have the more overlook position and more of in command and control position. So that is an experience differentiation between those vehicles.
Yeah, interesting. Another question, I don't know if you want to answer this, but I see one of the main rivals could be a Tesla Model Y. Is that, I mean, it's probably not in the same premium segment. I own one myself, and when I look at this one, it's another class, it's another interior, it's another feeling when you drive it.
Yeah.
But it's still a very interesting segment and a high volume segment.
Yeah. It is.
So, any takes on that?
Yeah, you can look at competitor vehicles from many different perspectives. And if we take the user approach, the vehicle needs to satisfy users' wants and needs. And yes, to some extent, the EL6 and the Model Y from Tesla satisfy similar user needs. But then when you start to look at it, from example, from design, from emotional approach, from usability, they do differ. And in the end, it's of course up to the user to choose. But in my mind, we do have a better product overall. But it's the user that will choose.
Yeah. Great. I think that was the last question.
Okay.
Yeah, nice interview.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time to talk with me and to answer some nice questions. I mean, this for me feels like a new era and the real start for NIO in Europe, at least in Europe, because this is two really, hopefully, big volume cars.
Yes, correct. And I assume I will see you in one of these later on.
Yeah, I hope so.
Good.
Thank you. So time for the next interview. Here with me I have Andreas Nilsson from NIO, Munich.
Yes.
Or München.
Yeah.
Welcome. I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
First off, your role at NIO and short about your background in the car industry.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm a studio head at NIO, which is it's not a physical studio. It's actually a studio responsible for different car lines, and these two cars, for example, that we're showing here today. And I'm keeping the team together, responsible for everything you see on the car: exterior, interior, CMF, that's color material and finishes. So the whole experience from beginning to end over generations. So we are 3 studio heads responsible for the different cars. So I have about 5 cars that I'm running. Yep.
Nice. So here behind us we have the ET5, the station version, or it's not called station, it's called
Touring.
Yeah, the touring version of the ET5. A beautiful car. It looks like it's meant to be. I mean, when looking at the sedan version, also a very good looking car, but this actually looks original design, at least for me. So how did this idea? When did you come up with the idea, and for how long? Because for me it felt like it just popped up and it's already almost on the market. Very quick work from you guys. Impressive.
Yeah, it's actually it's a fruit from some initial thinking or ideas within design. We had another program that was running, and it was deemed not to be optimal, so it was cancelled. And the team felt like, this is a little bit of a lost opportunity. We need something in that region, sort of that positioning of the market. But that product that was cancelled wasn't quite right. So we're looking at what possibilities do we have to fill that market position and that need that we see here, especially here in Europe and Northern Europe. So our proposition was to, based on the ET5, make this touring version. So we presented a few ideas, and the management felt, wow, this is looking really good and promising. So it was kicked off and done in record time, just a few months. So that was, it's fast.
That's really impressive because as you say, I mean, Europe, especially the Nordic countries, I think Germany too, really loves station wagons because it's a lot more practical than classical sedans, and you can do a lot more with it. It's more boot capacity. You have some extra versatility or practicality to the car. Is there anything specific you're more proud of when it comes to the new design of this version?
Well, first of all, I think it's a beautiful car. I think it's well proportioned, well balanced. We wanted to make a car that's enjoyable to drive. So it's a low car. Center of gravity and driving dynamics are all good. It's beautiful, jet practical. What I'm proud of is how we managed to make it look purposeful and like it's meant to be, even though it wasn't planned from the beginning when we did the ET5. Usually you design two cars together if you know you're doing a station wagon version out of it, but we didn't. But still, I think it looks extremely nice. And then some smart ideas and solutions in the rear boot space, the trunk space, that are quite unique.
Maybe we can have a look at them.
Yeah,
I think so. Let's move the camera. Okay, so this is the boot of the touring version, a lot bigger than the sedan version, and
so have a couple of hooks here.
Special hooks.
Yeah, so if you go sporting and you're changing, you can, hang your gear there and
perfect.
change. Yeah. If you're out camping, have a little detachable.
So a flashlight.
It's a combination here. So you have some different functions. So you can turn it on, like you can hang it like this.
Oh, because you can hang it on the hook to get some extra light.
Or somewhere else. You can, then it's a multiple function,
Yeah, you can change the color. Okay.
Warning lamps, and then you have a flashlight.
So that one doubles as a interior light for the boot space and also a flashlight, and it's charged at that position.
Charged there, and we have 3 lamps.
Yeah, so
we did some studies, and a lot of cars have 1 or 2, and it's quite annoying because, often you block the lights and it's just pitch black. So we wanted to make sure you always have good lighting here. Then we have the floors that you can actually put these up and use as a divider.
Okay,
Both of them, right? Simple solution, but there will be multiple accessories as well that you can hang from here. With of course we have the roller blind, and then you have the partial shelf. You can have some storage, etc., etc. And we have this, so you can slide up or push down.
Oh, nice. So like a safety net or
safety
storing
net.
But,
usually you have to just bend it down, but this one actually comes down. And there's another one that's even further up to as an accessory. So just small things. Considering the time we had, it was a challenge, but it's nice to see how we managed to get it all in there.
Yeah, it looks like a great product. And foldable seats, 40, 20, 40.
Yes,
That's perfect for stowing long things in the middle, but still keeping the seating positions.
2 full seating positions, and while you can put your skis or your surfboard or whatever through there. That's quite unique for this segment as well. So that's good.
That's nice. And you can also equip this with the tow hitch.
Yep.
And roof racks on top. I think it's 75 kilograms of weight possible to put on it.
Yep.
So all in all, a very practical car.
It's practical and beautiful.
Yeah. That's a perfect mix.
Yep.
I think that's all.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for taking time and answering my questions.
Thank you, Effe.
So that was 2 interesting interviews with Andreas and Niklas from NIO, centrally from Munich. So it's good and fun to see the Swedish genes in the brand NIO and the influence they have on NIO as a company and in the development of their cars. I'm actually walking on the avenue. This is the main avenue in Gothenburg where all the bars and restaurants are placed. Not all, but a lot of them. It's a very known street called Avenyn in Swedish. I really hoped to be able to capture more materials about the cars, and that's something that will come later on in additional videos. But altogether, 2 really great cars. This seems to be a deal breaker for NIO as a company, and I really hope that they will succeed because it is 2 really great cars. It's an interesting brand, and this is 2 models that really has the potential to really make it, especially in Europe. I mean, a mid-sized SUV, that's a mass market car in the premium segment. I mean, I think this is a clear competitor to the Model Y and to cars like the BMW iX3, for instance. But I would say that this is a bit more premium. There is no information regarding the price yet, at least not when I record this video. And NIO is they really don't want to say anything. They have set the price point for the car. So it will be very interesting to see where it lands. But hopefully a lot cheaper than the EL7, and it will be. So that's interesting. And when it comes to the ET5 Touring, it will be almost the same price as the ET5 sedan, but with some additional fee for being a station wagon. I guess it will be like 1,500 euros or 15,000 Swedish crowns extra on top of the normal ET5 price. But let's see. Soon we know. So that's it. It's time to wrap up. I'm walking back to the hotel for checking out and leaving back home to Stockholm. It has been a great trip and a great experience to be behind the scenes of the release of NIO ET5 Touring Edition and the SUV, mid-size SUV EL6. Really looking forward to test drive and to do a long review of each car. That's coming, so stay tuned for that one. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, so give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and as I always say, stay electric. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.